Hey everyone, welcome to this fun stream for Toon Boom. My name is Mel. It's actually Marie-Ève, but no one can pronounce that. So now I go by Mel, 3 letters. Super easy. Um, Today I am joined with an amazing guest, which is going to introduce herself in a few seconds. But as usual, I have to say the boring rules. Be nice, don't be rude, don't ask about NDA stuff because we will not share. And if you have any questions about character design, today is your day because that is the subject, which means that if you have questions unrelated to the subject, you are welcome to ask them, but they will probably not be answered unless we have more time at the end. So yeah, today we're talking about character design. It's gonna be fun, and today I'm joined with Vanessa, which is an amazing artist, and she's gonna introduce herself. So what is your name and favorite color? 10 years already. Time goes so fast. Um, and I say 10 years, yes, because we both graduated 10 years ago from the same school, which is a COE in Montreal, Canada. Um, and yeah, so we both studied to Cégep du Vieux Montréal.
We did.
Yay!
Yeah, the 2D formation. And you went and learned the 3D stuff.
Oh, that's true. I did go back in 3D too. But I mean, you
Hmm.
you came back in 3D for a few weeks. You had a taste.
Oh, I tried, but yeah, it's really the 2D stuff for me. Yeah, not going
But
back, at
but
least now.
that's a good thing, though. I mean, we were not supposed to talk about it, but then that is also like a good point. Like, it's okay to go and try things. Like, you tried 3D, figured it was not the thing for you, and that's fine. Like, so many people are so scared and so tried,
Mm,
so scared and so worried
yeah.
about trying stuff, but it's and they're like, oh, if I don't make the good decisions now, I'm gonna pay for the rest of my. No, it's just like, I mean, unless the school costs like 80 grand upfront, like don't.
Yeah, true.
Like, I mean, consider first. But if
There's
you
always
have
a
a
cost,
way,
yeah, to.
yeah, if it's just learning or something, like just try it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's fine.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I stuck through it. Graduated 3D, worked in it for a year, and then didn't. I only now came back to it. What, years later? I don't know how many years, maybe like 5 years
Mm.
later. And I enjoy it now because I do it only if I want to. um, oh, very important. What is your favorite Halloween creature monster?
I mean, I'm drawing it right now. It's
It's like,
the
what is your favorite
vampire.
creature, and why is it a vampire?
Because they're just so nice. I like the shapes that you can do with them. Like they're
They're
always so
pointy.
shapy, so pointy. So like they can be nice. They can look gruesome. They can be whatever.
They're very charismatic.
Oh yeah.
Pelos. You know what would be funny? A vampire that is actually the complete opposite of a charismatic dude. Like a vampire that just comes, he's like, I really like your shoes, they look nice. Yeah, oh yeah, of course you're gonna try.
I mean,
But
that's what I'm here for, right?
of course. But yeah, I mean, character design is about lines and shapes and stuff, and
Oh,
it is true. Vampires are very, very pointy. To me, like,
yeah.
vampires are pointy, Frankenstein's monsters are square, and
Hmm.
ghosts are like little round blob things, but they can still be scary.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ghost scares me. That's crazy. But vampires, I would see them. I would be like, hey,
You
want to
would
be
be
my
like
friend?
Bella from Twilight. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And speaking of animations and shapes and designs and stuff, and
Yeah.
charismatic fellas, what is some of your favorite series and movies that are animated? And why
Um,
is it Lupin?
oh yeah, it's Lupin the Third for sure. Like just for the character designs, lanky characters, I really really like. They can be silly, they can have silly poses, yeah, yeah,
And then
but
they
they
can be
can still be
scary.
charismatic too. So that really speaks to me. But there's also, the best animated movie ever,
The
which is
road to El
El Dorado.
Dorado.
Yeah, The Road to El Dorado. That movie has everything.
It's so
Good
good.
music, good character design, great colors, uh,
A great
like the
villain.
BGs,
That's
everything.
so
Like even
interesting.
the story is super fun. Like you never get tired of watching it.
That is true. That is true. And you know, all and speaking of character design, they're very on point. It's super interesting. Like you have the villain with all these intricate, like weird shapes, and the other
Hmm.
dude, the chief, who's super round and soft and posed, and like that is so cool. Like to see them right next to each other, so cool.
Yeah.
Um, Okay, okay. And now I have questions. Oh, I love that
Yes.
vampire. I'm kind of new to this kind of job. I became a vampire yesterday. You want to see
Yeah.
my Pokemon trading cards?
Oh, poor guy.
You see, I like the one on the right more than the
What? No.
one. Yes. Okay, so tell us a bit about your work. So you have
Mm.
experience working in TV series, some little movies.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Can you like give like a quick overview of the kind of shows you did in the last few years? You know, the one you want to mention, because I know we all work on stuff we don't remember or want to mention. But you know, some highlights here and there.
Yeah, so yeah, I worked on a couple of shows for sure. Worked on Arthur, the aardvark with the fist, the
Oh, the meme.
the meme. So I worked on that. Of course, I didn't do the main designs; they were already established for so many years. But I worked on 2 seasons, and we did some new characters on those last seasons, and it was super fun. Great show. I learned so much. Also worked on. I cannot say that one. um, what were the other ones? Oh, I worked on F is for Family, which is
Oh,
on
that is true.
Netflix. Oh yeah, that one too. I had so much fun working on it. Well, it's pretty nice to work on a show where you read the script and then you're just laughing and you cannot wait to design the characters that gonna come out of those scripts.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I mean, we
yeah,
worked on Big Hero 6 together, the
yeah,
series.
we
We didn't
did,
do
we
design
did.
on that one, but it
No,
was we
no
were doing
designs, but
animation, comp, everything else.
yeah, exactly. We did everything else, but we learned so much by
Mhm.
animating on those characters because we could see where the struggles were, and we knew how to prevent those issues on
Learn
the
from the
future.
mistakes.
Yeah, in the future. So for sure, that was a great experience to have. And yeah, many more shows right now that are still being worked on.
NDA, my friends.
NDA, we cannot say much, but yeah, I mean, 10 years of design,
Yep,
the-
yep, yep. I
quite
mean,
quite
10
a
years.
lot of stuff happened.
Crazy. Um, okay, and you worked on movies and TV series. Can you tell us
Yes.
a little bit of how it differs from one another? Because we always think that character design is just drawing characters, but
Hmm.
you know, there's so many. It's like animation for movies and for games and for series, wildly different. So, yeah, what are some differences between the two?
Mm. Yes, I would say that for feature they have more time to come out with designs. So we have more time to establish them, to to make them more appealing, to research on them and stuff like that.
Pour les peaufiner, make them look as on point as you can.
Oh yeah. As TV shows, we don't have that luxury of time. Stuff happened uh, quite rapidly. So for example, on a feature, you could have maybe a month or two to work on a character, and then still have more time to work on retakes from the client or the director
On a
or
series, you have
whichever.
like 3 hours.
Yeah, almost like we have 2 weeks deadlines normally, and sometimes 1 week.
But
It
two
depends
weeks
on
is
the
not
show.
for one character; it's for
It
the
is not. It
episode.
is for the whole episode. So,
Yes.
so that's why sometimes we need to take on shortcuts and stuff like that. Uh, work on existing material and reuse it. So that's why TV shows sometimes, you can see more mistakes here and there. But
Yeah,
we try to make
fine.
do with the time that we have. And normally, yeah, stuff looks good.
It does. And if
Hmm.
it doesn't, guys, just remember that it was made by human beings.
Oh yeah,
That's
always be
why,
nice.
well, yeah, that's why even on my YouTube channel, people are always like, oh, you should like watch, talk about shows and like point out everything that sucks about them. I'm like, no.
Mhm.
Like, why would I do that? It's been made
Yeah,
by people. You don't know if
but
people were in a rush or whatever.
yeah, it's okay to have opinions for sure. But always make sure that you remember that people worked on stuff. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, well, a job is a job, right? So when sometimes you work on stuff and you're not quite, you don't quite fancy it. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's just a drawing. I don't really care. But there's always somebody like the creator of the show, maybe like they have it at heart, like they want it to succeed, they want it to, like, it's their story, they want it to uh, they want people to like it, to relate to it. And yeah,
You have to
sometimes
find the
when,
right balance between it looks amazing and I gotta deliver.
oh yeah, yeah, so mhm.
Very nice, very nice. And what is it? I mean, we're gonna focus a bit more on TV for now because that's actually that is an important point. There's a lot of students usually that listens to these streams because I
Okay.
guess they're in school and they have time to do that. And one thing that I hear all the time when I mentor or I talk to kids, they're like, "Oh, when I graduate, I'm gonna work on a feature film." Like, no, no, you won't.
Mhm.
Because usually, when people graduate out of school, the first, like, what are some first things that are open as character designers? I think we can think of like props or TV series, probably.
Oh, when you begin on a show,
Yeah,
like
well, when
when,
you're freshly out of school.
well, it depends on the people. Like some people are really lucky and then they get on the big job, but
Okay, but you're average Joe in school, not that
yeah,
one
so for
star.
yeah, most of the people when they start as cleanup artists, or sometimes the people that do uh, not the concept art, but the turnarounds, the kits,
Mm-hmm.
so they work on established material, and they can, they can learn how to do stuff by working on material that like the main designers did. And
It's like
so so it's a first job, it's not really like perfect, but you learn at the same time. And then uh, when they are looking for artists, you're already in the place, and you already have a name for yourself. So you create contacts, you talk to people, you can show your stuff to others. uh, and now with Discord, like, most of the studios have Discord or stuff where you can exchange with your colleagues. So you
yeah,
can create, you
bonds
can,
and friends and
exactly, and you can share stuff that you really like. And uh, yeah, that's how you get jobs mostly. It's like
yeah.
by mm, uh, yeah, creating contacts, and then people say, "Hey, we need an artist for this show. You want to come in and join us?" And
I
yeah.
can't talk for 3D because it's probably a bit more complex. Not complex.
Hmm.
I mean different there. But if I look at 2D, the way I see it a lot is a kind of like a in the Dark Ages they had like these blacksmiths and there was always like someone doing the sword and then the person who was working for the blacksmith were doing
Hmm.
something else. They were watching the guy doing it and maybe his job was to put fire like wood in the fire to be able to make the sword. And
Mm.
to me, when you're freshly out of school, unless if you're one of these like 5-star elite student, which I was not, I don't think none of us here were. Fun. It's okay. I mean, we still made it. Woohoo! But it's so important to like value each opportunity that you get offered,
Oh
because
yeah.
like I've seen students be like out of school get a job offer to do props on a show, and they were like, no, I want to do characters, and they're like turned
Mm.
down the job, and I'm like, dude, no. Or like, this is for like revision on his storyboard or cleanup on his storyboard.
Oh
This is
yeah, that's a good
so
job.
beneath me, and I'm like, no,
No,
it's
it's a
really
great
not.
yeah, it's a great way to get in a studio or get to know people. Um, for sure, it's a bit tedious at first,
Oh yeah.
but then yeah, you learn so much, and I feel like it's super important to have that knowledge, because even though you, for example, you just want to do character designs, you still have to provide some of the time props, because they work hand in hand. And even the BGs, like sometimes we have to do posters for BGs, so it's not
Mm-hmm.
really character design stuff all the time. Like it's not always characters that we create, but we work hand in hand, like we're a team, so we're gonna help
Yeah,
other
because it's the design
departments.
teams, the design department
Yeah,
usually.
so if you think that you're gonna come in and only do one thing, well, no. No.
And
But
it's so important also to remember that like doing these side contracts, because you did
mm,
mostly character design, like I did mostly animation in
yeah.
my 10 years of career. We're so old. But I know that you've done like effects design, you did compositing for a show, you cleaned up in a rig, I think, at one point for like a gig. I think you did some like storyboard cleanup too. And I've done compositing, rigging, I've done so many different things, but like all these little side jobs or things
Hmm.
when you get out of your comfort zone,
Yeah,
they bring good things.
and
Like
it's not lost, like it's knowledge that you carry on for the
to
rest of
work as
your
a team.
life. Sometimes like I come up with a challenge, and then I remember, hey, you know what, this job helped me get through it. Like for example, the storyboard gig, I had to sketch an advertisement, and it was 30 seconds, I think, and I had
Cool.
no idea what I was doing, because it was the first time I was handling this. But at the end of the day, I learned so much from uh, the program, and I've learned how to approach stuff differently for my characters. So for example, I would say, oh, I didn't think that I would need that view of the character as much as I did. And
Mm-hmm.
so it made me think that, oh, you know what, the things that we learn at school, of course it's great, but you always have to adapt to the material that you have, or the gig that you have, and learning different aspects of the job. So for example, storyboarding, or props designs, or stuff like that, well, it always stays in your baggage, in your bag of knowledge,
Of
and
course.
never lost. Yeah, you always adapt, you always change, you always morph into something like a more accomplished artist at the end of the day.
Like a caterpillar.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh,
grub.
that's too corny.
We're
but
just grubs.
it's the truth.
I played too much Hollow Knight lately. We're grubs. Um, yeah, and speaking also of the job,
Mhm.
um, what is it like for TV, for example? What is it like usually a day, like in a character designer? Not a supervisor, not the person who calls all the shots, just someone who is designing characters on the
Mm.
show, usually.
A day? It's hard to say as a day, because I feel like a week would be better
Okay, yeah, a
explained.
week.
Okay, let's say a week. So you have to read a script. You need to see what are the needs for the episode that you get. You have time to research for for your character. Like, for example, you
Finding references
yeah, let's say you
or
have to do a
references.
vampire, you need to find those references. Well, it can be anywhere really. Stuff that you like that you want to implement in the show or stuff like that. You need to be on model for sure. So adapt your new character to the show. It needs to fit and feel like it belongs in the universe. After that, yeah, you do a bunch of different designs if you have the luxury of time. And most of the time, the supervisor would help with those. He would like give notes here and there, like, oh, okay, this one I like. Maybe we can send 2 or 3 of them, stuff like that. And it goes to the director that uh, approves it or not. And following the retakes, it goes to the client. If the client likes it, loves it, you get great comments. It comes back to you, and then you uh, need to do the turnaround, the rotation for it.
Dun dun dun. The part that
And
I hate.
yeah, it's a bit tedious, but once you get the hang
But
the
you're so good at it.
the
And
hang of it.
like I always looked and I'm like, wow,
Oh, but with the ToonBoom,
cheers.
it's so amazing to do because you have the timeline and you can just scroll uh, between your drawings. I don't
Yeah.
know if I have the time to do
And you
an
get the
example,
alignment
but
guides as well that are also helpful.
yeah, the perspective tool
And
and
the
the
symmetry
grid.
tool.
Yeah, yeah, those tools are amazing. And the mirror, I like to use it like when you flip and you see, oh no,
Oh
I
no.
didn't think my head would be that crooked, for example.
It's always like
Uh,
flip your drawings, folks. It's
yeah.
important. Always.
But yeah, the mirror tool is my best friend, and so many more. But yeah.
I thought that
Uh,
was your best friend.
oh come on, that's so cheesy.
I know.
But yeah, I mean it's like a week as a character designer is a bunch of back and forth with comments on your designs. You have to let go sometimes of something that you thought was really great, but then doesn't make the cut, and
Yeah, it
that hurts.
happens.
And other times you do a design like just for fun, like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do this and see how it goes. And they like it. They absolutely like it, and
They
they're like, "Oh
love
my
it.
gosh, this is the best design that you did!" And you're like, "Oh, okay."
Ouch.
I mean, well, that's not what you thought it would be, but it's always nice to get great comments.
You know this old trick that everybody like would talk about all the time when you want to get something approved and you have to give like maybe 5 design, or let's say you have to give 3 design. You make
Hmm.
one you really like, one you're fine with, and one that you absolutely hate because you know no one's gonna pick it. Did it
Yeah.
ever happen to you that you did that, but they picked the most horrendous, disgusting work you've ever done?
Yeah. It
Yeah, yeah.
happens
Happens too
often.
often.
Yeah.
Should dare we say it is not a good trick?
Yeah. I mean, if you really don't want something to be in a show,
Don't draw
then
it
just don't send it. Like,
because
even if you think that you hate it and you think that they're gonna choose the better version
they
because
won't.
yeah, because like comparing both of them for you is super logic, and you're like, oh, there's no way they're gonna choose this one over the other one that I feel like is super great. But then no, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I stopped advising. And people advised me to do this when I was younger,
Yeah.
and I just took the executive decision to never give this advice to anyone ever again.
Yeah.
It backfired way too much.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah,
unfortunately.
unfortunately. We were talking as you were like explaining to the week day no the week schedule of a
Yeah.
character designer.
Hmm.
You talked about like the how to make the character fit in the universe. We're like, oh yeah, you have to make a design, you have to make sure it looks good and that it fits with the
Yeah.
others. What are
Hmm.
some key points of them fitting? I remember in
Mm.
school they taught us something that stuck with me for a long time. They were like, I think it was it like Laubert, like the creative creativity teacher? He was so cool. I think it,
Mm,
or maybe Daniel, I don't remember. But they were like to have unity in a show. Oftentimes it comes with like the shoes, the hands, and the eye feature. And
yeah,
I'm like, of course it's not just that, but I think it was a good
it's
point.
it's mostly that. And you know
Yeah.
why? It's because it's the features that we can reuse as much as we can, and
Oh,
nobody
that's
noticed.
true. That is true.
Well, I mean, maybe people will notice, but it's the thing that we reuse so much, like the hands, the feet, the eyes, for the blinks and expressions and everything. Of course, like you do. Okay, I'm just gonna go with this guy, poor thing. But for example, these eyes, like you wouldn't come come out with a character with those round
Yeah, because they don't
black
fit.
eyes
One is
because they,
Dutch,
yeah, they're
and
not related that much, like in terms of style. But if you go with this design, let's say, and then
you
decide
give
to
him
do
Dutch
another
eyes.
character with the same eyes, well, you can change so much stuff. Like,
Do it,
let's,
do it.
yeah, let's get rid of those lines. And okay, let's say
Make
this
it
guy
your
is a bit
cat.
more rounder. What?
Make
My
it your
cat?
cat.
Oh
Yes.
no.
Sure, sure.
Like I could, but he wouldn't have those eyes.
That is true.
Those,
They're like
that expression, I mean, more like.
that's crazy how two little lines make such a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, poor cat. But anyway, yeah, that's why we. Well, I mean, of course, for the style, the eyes always tells. Like, you have a show with big round eyes, you're always gonna use the same shape for
Or
every
something
characters.
similar.
Yeah. A cat. I don't know.
Meow meow. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's super interesting. So yeah, eyes, feet, and hands. Of course, it's not just that, but oftentimes they're pretty good to link universes together. Not saying
Yeah.
that everybody's gonna have these eyes. It's just that usually, if you have a certain, it's more like a certain amount of detail.
Yeah.
Um, like if your main character has four fingers and someone else have five, then that'll be weird.
Mhm.
Unless there's like a reason for it, but it's my
Yeah.
style. Um, 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 um. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't forget something because we have a list of
Mm.
questions. I'm such a prepared person. Oh my god. Um. Oh, okay. I love this question. People, usually students, usually don't fully understand the reality of working in a character design
Mm.
position. How, what is it to be working in character design? I know it's hard to explain because we could go forever, but usually I try to we can keep it as like what it is and what it is not. Like,
Mhm.
what did you think it was and actually it's not, or something like that. So, yeah.
Mm. That's a big question.
Like maybe an example is when we are in school we think that if we're a character designer all we're going to do is design character all day,
Yeah.
so
True. Yeah. I'm trying to go back to how I was, so young and innocent. um. What did I think it would be? Well, I already had a bit of knowledge of how character design worked, but what was the difference? The main difference was I was used to see stuff from movies, like big
Mhm.
character sheets with a lot of expressions, a lot of gesturals, like uh, posings and stuff like that. But as a character designer on TV shows, we don't uh, we don't have the time to create those sheets most of the time. Like you just go with the flow. You just like it constantly go on, and you never have the time like to create a lot of materials uh,
And
to prepare for a show. It
yeah.
just goes along. So you think that you would be prepared 100% with your characters, but it just like once the train goes
Woohoo!
and stuff starts to uh, to um, to be to
Yeah,
move.
it just goes, and then
Uh,
it just
yeah,
goes
yeah, you're
along.
constantly
And
in the loop of creating and then adding some material like the turnaround and kits and head tilts, hands and stuff, and then go back to creating a new character and then proceed uh, like an eternal loop. So it's never we have to create let's say 50 character for 10 episodes. It's always like, okay, for this week we have 5 characters to do. The other week we have two,
7.
and that, yeah, it just comes as a au compte goutte.
And also, like, in what it is and what is it not, like, sometimes we also forget that when you design characters, oftentimes you're going to work more on the line work.
Hmm.
But like for backgrounds, for props, like colors is usually, unless you work in a small team, usually it's like another job, like you're going to be a color artist or something. So um yeah, that's also important to note, that like character, like if you work in design, there's like the line design, and then of the time the color is another job completely.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. We mostly work in black and white, sometimes gray, when we need to show that there's a tone difference. But yeah, color is done from another team completely.
And because there are two different expertise, it's like I'm a good animator.
Hmm.
Am I a good posing artist? Not really. um you're
Hmm.
really good at posing. Because, like, it's different um expertise, and you can be a very great character design and not be the greatest color artist either.
Hmm.
And the reason I'm saying this is also for portfolio, because if you want to be working in design, um it might be worth it to have a portfolio that is just line work, I think. um because otherwise maybe your color work can be like distracting to this
Mm,
and stuff.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it's good to have
both.
both, but yeah, if you've well, one of the teacher from Sisha back in the day told me straight out because we had to do a portfolio that shows every bit of the work that we did for our films.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it was an assignment for school. They
yeah,
had to
from
create
A
like
to
our
Z. So
color
we had
knowledge.
to, yeah, we had to show our characters, our turnaround. We had to show our colors, our BGs, our props, um our script, not script,
What
but
was
you
it?
know,
Didn't he say like that, something about like, yeah, color work, not cutting?
no, it was more of what they told me. It was like, you know, we asked you to put like every material that you did for your
Your short
movie
film.
in into your portfolio, but for you maybe you could get rid of your BGs.
I
But you
remember.
know what? You're right. I hate doing BGs, so why would I put it in my portfolio? Even though they told me I needed to put it because it was an assignment from school,
Yeah, but
but
then when
it
you
wasn't.
graduate,
Yeah,
you.
but it would just
Mm.
lower my the quality that I was providing in my portfolio. So they straight out said, you know what, your strength is in character, so only put characters in your portfolio. That's if that's what you want to do later as a job and everything. You know, put what you want to do, not stuff that you feel like you need to. And it's such a nice, it's such a great thing that they taught me.
Yeah, that is
Even though it might seem like, well, of course, duh, but I didn't
but it's
really.
not so like, it's not so, no, not evident, pas évident, what is this in English? It's not so like, people don't think about that usually. Like, even when I was
Mhm.
a student, I was like, I didn't know what I was going to be good at. I thought I was bad at everything in school.
Mm,
And I was like, oh well, I'm gonna try to be okay and everything. Like, no, like, just at one point you're probably gonna find one or few things that you're great at. So, like,
mhm.
don't be scared to like experiment with this. But by the time, by my 3 years in school, I found out that I was probably going to be very great at animation. That's the thing I really like to do, and I'm great
Mm-hmm.
at it. So my first 3 years of school, of animation school, were very hard because I was like, I don't know what to do. But then when I went back, like you said, to do just the 3D part,
Yeah.
I knew well what I wanted to do and absolutely did not care about the other classes. But
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
the thing.
I
Yeah.
cared. I cared enough because it's okay to be generalist. But it was
Yeah.
so nice to finally know where I was standing in this industry.
Yeah.
Because like for you, when I graduated in 3D, I remember my animation teacher looking at my movie, giving me my grades and stuff, and being
Yeah.
like, "You did a fantastic job animating that shitty rig you made."
Oh my gosh.
Because I was not a good 3D rigger, and I still am not, and that's okay. You can't
Yeah.
be amazing at everything. But if it's for school, though, like big advice, if it's school, you do have to care about your classes, at least minimally. Okay, like don't abandon completely another course because then it's counterproductive. You're supposed to learn many different sides of skills. That's a great thing of school.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, teacher, I'm not gonna do your assignment because all I want to do is background. I don't want to do animation. No, you have to do the animation
I
to
mean,
learn it, but you don't have to have 100% in all the classes. This is not like French or math or English class anymore. It's art. You can't. It's like a video game, right? You can't put all your points in every skill. You have
yeah.
to split them. Um, yeah. Oh, speaking of skills, what are some skills you need to be proficient in character design? What are some like because I know we can say you have to be good at drawing, but like there's probably
Hmm.
other things like um
You have to like it. You have to love what you do, I
mhm,
suppose. Otherwise,
communicate,
yeah. Um, um, uh, 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 um,
compromise. That's a good thing. You have to learn to
uh,
compromise.
yeah. To be a character designer, well, mostly full time, or as long as you can, you have to be versatile with your style. You cannot be stuck in only one way. Otherwise, like every time there's a new show that's gonna appear, uh, you won't be able uh, to uh, to adapt. You know, and that's a great skill to have, to be able to adapt and to follow the rules that the new show establishes. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, you're always drawing square heads character. I'm just gonna do it super fast and ugly.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, let's say that's your style, okay?
That's
That's
my
what you
style.
always draw. But then you go on a show and they're like, "Oh, we need to do a bubbly
Make it
characters.
softer.
Everything is round, Yay!" Yeah, you need to be able to change your style.
Yep. And oh,
Forgot.
and thank you for
Uh,
Lala Point in the chat, giving us the wonderful information that something that is évident in French is
mhm.
obvious in English, and this is so obvious. How did I forget it? So, yeah, sometimes when we think that things are obvious to everybody in school, but they're not. Like it's okay to make
Yeah,
mistakes
the
and stuff.
obvious. Yeah, stating the
Yeah, yeah,
obvious.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lala Point. And someone asked a question in the chat, but it's a very, very hard question to answer. I am not even sure I can answer it, and I'm not
Mm.
even sure you can either, but I don't know. So, Drop Point in the chat says, any tips on how to deal with fellow coworkers on your team taking credits for your work or even
Mm.
not acknowledging your work, despite it being a significant contribution to the production pipeline? What I could answer to that is um, it's very hard because it so depends on the individual. If this was happening to me, I mean, you know me, I would probably go ballistic and be like, can you guys respect me, please? But it's Is I think I would just give advice to keep it like whatever you do, keep it professional. Like this is not high
Oh
school
yeah,
anymore.
always.
Like the I can't okay. I don't think we can give you tell you what to do, but I think we can tell you what not to do. I wouldn't make a scene out of it at work. Like you can resolve these situation by talking to the right people in the right spaces. Do not like slander someone like online or whatever. Be like go on Twitter, being like, "Oh, my coworker, like they don't respect what I do." Like, no, don't do that. Yeah,
Yeah, well, I would always advise to talk to the person directly first.
yeah.
Like maybe it's just a misunderstanding.
Miscommunication,
And
maybe.
yeah, often I feel like people uh tends to create scenarios or
Mm-hmm.
think that they know something about another person,
Never
but then
assume.
yeah, exactly. But then they get to talk to them and they're like, oh, what I thought I knew about them wasn't true at all. Or maybe, yeah, maybe it was like I don't know. Maybe it was a misunderstood. Sometimes when we write online, it doesn't come out as genius as it would be
Yep.
when you talk like face to face, or resolving issues like that. I feel like it's always better. That's how I would approach stuff like that. And if things doesn't get better and doesn't get resolved, you could maybe talk to somebody that you trust and see if uh, see if you can have a different point of view about the
But yeah,
issue.
just keep it professional and
Yeah, and if you feel like it's affecting super badly the work environment, well, you can always reach out to higher ups, like the people that take care of the show.
mm-hmm.
But that's a bit intense. I feel
Yeah,
like,
don't that's
you know,
not your first thing.
yeah, that's not really the first thing, and uh, you don't always agree with people along the day, and sometimes you just have to suck it up and say, you know what, this is just for a show that's gonna end in maybe 3 5 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends, and then you get to learn to work with people you don't agree with, and
You have to choose your battle. That's something
yeah,
I've learned as
exactly,
well.
exactly. I mean, it's been 10 years and I feel like I almost never had to deal with this, so I'm
Me
very
neither.
lucky. But uh, yeah, I feel like it's always better to either just talk to the person directly, or just it's just a contract. Things will be different on another project,
I
or
think the takeaway is to stay professional and also that
always.
miscommunication
Oh yeah.
is 90% of the problem.
Oh, for
and
sure, for sure.
and the thing to remember is when you have an issue like that, like any kind of issue, it may be at work in your life, like it's one small thing that I've learned because outside of animation, I work a lot with kids. Like I help doing like there's like these days for kids and stuff kind of like nature class and stuff, and we deal a lot of like conflict resolution in this, right? And the biggest thing that I teach and that I learned is to always speak from your point of view. So even if it's written like someone stole your work, took credits for it, and is not acknowledging your work. This is your vision of the situation because it might not be that. Maybe the person just forgot and they're like, "Oh, well, that was not my intention." So
Hmm.
never put intention on people. Just if this is happening to me, I would talk to the person, be like, hey, I did this design, and at the showing with the presentation with the clients, like my name was not attached to it. Like, would it be possible in the future to make sure that it's attached, because I felt kind of sad that it was not there or something like that. So speak from your point of view and don't ever assume that people have intentions, because usually they don't. um yeah, it's a
Yeah, it's yeah, because yeah, for sure we're artists, so we're
we're
always like
sensitive.
emotional about our work for sure. And it's hard to take a step back and say, you know what, this is not my show, or my material at the end of the line. It's like
Yep.
the studio. is material. So yeah, but it's still hard to detach from it because you still put your heart and soul into stuff most of the time, and
Of all the shows I worked on, I only
yeah.
got credited once. And it was for Wakfu, a French show who they credited everybody worked on it. But that is also a reality of the industry, something that people are actively fighting to change. But if you think of a show,
Mm,
usually the design team has more chances of getting credited. But if you work in animation or comp or something, usually you're not even credited in the final product. So it's just an industry almost standard that, so oftentimes artists don't get acknowledged for what they do. So it's just up to us to
mm,
politely stand up and, slowly things might change. Who knows?
yeah.
um, oh, back to the design. There's a question I really don't want to forget. Because you started as a character designer and did many different work, but now you're more into supervision. And as a character design supervisor, yeah, I think that's the title. Yeah, character design supervisor.
Hmm.
Um, what are some things that you have to do often in terms of notes and revision, and when you work with your team and stuff? Like, what are some things that occupy your time a lot?
Oh my gosh, that's secret. No, but
Like common
what?
mistakes that happen often, because I mean I know, but like usually it's like
Mm,
hands that are not really on the style, or like
yeah.
mistakes in the turn not aligning. Like, what are some things that happen often?
Well, the way that I approach it, I always, well, sometimes I forget, but most of the time I always remind my team that, you know what, it's not because I'm the supervisor that I'm the best artist
Oh, that is
in the
true.
place. I just manage stuff. I just make sure that we're on time, on schedule, and the most technical part of, let's say, turnarounds and stuff like that. Hand kits, feet kits, head tilts, like the more
Yeah, head tilts are
technical
hard.
aspect of drawing. Those are always a bit more tedious. And as a supervisor, I feel like the main part of my job is to have when you do a drawing and you show somebody else and they tell you, oh, be careful about this arm because it's not like at the right position. Well, that's my job. Like I'm the person that get that gets to see your work and have a new vision about it, like a new point of view about it that you might not have had
Yeah,
about it. So that's mostly what I do.
yeah.
And yeah.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to finish with the with the turnarounds,
Yeah,
the like the perspective, the more technical aspect of drawings. Um, is what is the most important for me. So that's what I'm focusing on. Maybe another supervisor would be more inclined to spend more time on concepts, on design and stuff like that. And yeah, it really depends on the artist, I feel.
I agree. I agree. And okay, I thought we had another question in the chat, but we don't. It's just wait, I forget the name already. Memory. Goldfish. I was gonna say redfish. It's a goldfish in English. Mémoire de poisson rouge. So Drop Point is very happy about the input we gave for the whole credit situation and whatnot. That's
Nice.
super fun. Yo, we only have 8 minutes left. What is going on with my life? Oh my god.
Yeah, it goes so fast.
I know. I know. Um. Okay, another tasty one. Are you sometimes faced with coworkers or people down the production line or like superiors and stuff, not exactly understanding what your job position is and asking things that are not directly related to your work? And for that question, I mean, yes, you work in character design, but does it happen sometimes that people are like, oh yeah, like storyboard revisions, yes, design team can do that, and it's like, what? But it's not exactly your job, but it's like an extension of your job. Like, does it
Mm.
sometimes happens? Did it happen in the past?
It yeah, it happens quite often. There's always two ways to deal with them. Well, three ways. Either no, two ways.
I
Either
mean, we'll
you
see. I'm gonna keep
explain,
count.
yeah. Either you explain to them what they are asking for in more technical details, or either no, wait.
Okay, so
'Cause
wait. So if they ask you something, you kind of
yeah.
explain in more like technical term, like, "Are you sure that this is what you're asking me?"
No,
Did
I'm not saying it like that. Like, are you sure? It's more like, okay, what are you are asking of me is this, and this, which imply that it's gonna take me that amount of time, and would need that technical aspect of the job being taken care of. So this
oh,
is not part of design, but I can do it if it's in your expertise, of course. If it's not, well, just explain that somebody else needs to take care of that matter. But yeah, if you have the knowledge, just explain to them, hey, this is not supposed to be part of my job, but I can take care of it, and it always looks good for you. But if
yeah,
you don't
that's a
have the
very
time,
good answer.
there's always like stuff that you can talk through with the people, and yeah, it's always
Are you
hard.
saying that communication is key again?
Always,
Oh my
always.
god! Oh my
I know
god!
it's a recurring theme, but it is
It is. It is
the
so
best thing to
important.
have.
Like
Yeah.
people, when we talk about art jobs, like design, animation, comp, um, always in these interviews, it's always about like the art skills that we talk, but like it's
Hmm.
so much more. We're trying to like work in the in well this industry or any industry.
Yeah.
Communication is so important, and
Hmm.
oftentimes people just answer like, "Oh yeah, but I'm just not good at communicating, or it makes me too stressed and anxious." I'm like, were you good at drawing when you entered this world? No,
Hmm.
you trained for it. And communication is something you have to train so much
Oh yeah, it's so
for. I
important.
did. I sure did.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who was too afraid to call a pizza shop to order pizza on the phone. Here I am doing live streams on the internet.
Oh, I was the same. I would tell my brother to go fetch, some order at the McDonald's. Let's say a
I
McFlurry.
was terrified.
I was like, he was 8 and I was 9 or 10. I don't remember. And I would ask him to go fetch it for me. Like, he was younger. What? But
Yeah.
yeah. At some point, I figured something clicked, and I was like, you know what? I hate relying on other people to get my stuff, so I need to do it myself. And then it just unlocked. Uh, yeah, that skill unlocked by some phenomenon. But I'm so glad that it did.
Yeah, I'm so like when I was a kid, like being too stressed of ordering stuff. Like I'm so glad my parents pushed me to do it
Hmm.
because I was terrified of so many things, and they were like pushed me. And even when I was in school or like learning stuff,
Hmm.
like there was so many things I learned about like communicating and whatnot by taking like leadership things and like reading
Yeah.
about it and having like tiny exercises in the classes. And I'm just saying that if you're really someone who struggles a lot with communicating either your feelings or how like to respond or things stresses you out, I would just suggest or like try to advise to take it little by little, just like
Yeah.
anything that you learn, like
Small
baby
challenges, but then
steps, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's it's so important like communicating. Like you said, like if someone asks you something that is clearly not in your job position, I don't think just saying like not my work, like not my job, and not doing it, that it's not gonna do you any good because you're not gonna learn something new and you're not gonna help anyone.
Yeah.
But also doing, oh yeah, sure, I can do it. I know how to do that without problems is also not maybe a good advice. Set yourself up for success, I think, and like you said, just be honest about it. Just tell your supervisor or something like, this is not my expertise. This is not usually the work that I do, but I'm willing to give it a try, and it's probably going to succeed. And if it doesn't, we'll figure it out. Because if they're asking you, like, because I think the thing to make sure is that they're asking you because they didn't ask you by mistake, right? Sometimes they ask you, and you're like, well, actually, like, it's not exactly what I do. And they're like, oh, okay, then I'm gonna ask like this other person. My mistake. But
Mm.
sometimes they'll be like, yeah, but we don't have anyone else. I was like, okay,
Mm,
then I'll do it, right? I was doing a I think it was on Big Hero 6 that happened to me when people were like, I gave my scene, it was finished. I thought so. And then they gave me back the scene. They're like, "Oh, it's missing the fire animation." I'm like, "Fire? I mean, I'm not an
FX.
effect. I'm not an effects animator." I'm like, "That's going to the effects department, right?" They're like, "There is no effects department." I'm like, "Okay,
Mhm,
I mean, I will do it." But then I at least I made it known that FX was not my forte,
mhm.
and that's okay. I have other fortes. I have other things I'm very good at. I mean, now I can do it fixed. That was like, oh my god, that was so many years ago. Like what, 8 years ago? um, but yeah, so just be honest and communicate stuff, and
Yeah,
it's okay when to not know something because then you can just figure it out. It's okay.
nobody knows everything.
Or they're lying. Accept the truth. The truth.
Mhm,
um, okay, and maybe like one last little question because oh my god, time is running.
mhm.
Um, just making sure. Was there one that you read that I sent you that you really wanted to answer that we didn't touch on? I don't. I'm not sure. I think we went around, but I'm not sure. Like one that you really wanted to answer and I didn't.
I play hockey. No.
Oh, that is true. That is the one I was forgetting. Okay. Oh, yo, thank you so much.
It's
Um,
not important. I'm just kidding.
Oh, yes, because I put it at the end. I thought it was at the. Okay, yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. Okay, more than art. This is something I ask to everybody on stream. Usually, it's so important.
Mm,
We like you, person listening. You are more than just your art, and this
yeah.
is something that I am so happy that slowly people are discovering. Because
Yeah.
when you and I were in school, people were like, if you're not like spending all your day drawing, like what are you like, why are you even trying to make art? And
True.
this is so disgusting and toxic. I actually
Yeah.
got into arguments with people, um like major people,
Mhm.
renowned people, because I was really disagreeing with their old way of
Philosophy.
thinking, I guess. Yeah, old philosophy.
Yeah.
Like some I was showing my portfolio to someone as a tiny student, and they were like, no, but like, what like you do other things than art, like you do like you sail and you do archery and stuff, but like all these hours you spend doing all these stuff that's not drawing, someone else is drawing and getting better than you. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this
true.
is disgusting and toxic. I'm glad to say that they never said that in our school we went to, so that's
No.
good. But it was when we went outside, I think, was it when we went like to like CTN and we started to see like all these
Oh
outside,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
many
CTN.
countries together.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so toxic to get out of our little province of Quebec, in Canada, like to get all these other country and talk, and it was like,
Mhm.
if you're not drawing at the moment, someone else is, and they're gonna be better than you. So let's destroy this philosophy and talk about what we're doing when we're not doing art.
Yeah.
Because I like to draw, but I am also a musician. I do music. I take care of my plants. I love my green babies. I sail. It's so important to get out and, not only just for exercise, but to just do something else. So what did you do when you're not doing art,
Yeah, playing
Vanessa?
hockey.
Playing all the sports.
Like just getting that
That
that energy out in other ways.
so important.
Playing sport, yeah, team sports mostly. I like to be in team
With
events.
people.
Yeah, with people, like sharing the pain and the struggle. Well, you're not alone, and yeah, working toward the same goal is always. I feel like it's the best thing that we can accomplish as
Right?
humans.
And if you need a little incentive because you're so stressed that if you don't do art, someone else is going to be better. Because, that philosophy, I might be against it, but it's really drilled into a lot of people's brain, unfortunately. But if it can help a little bit, there's even benefits of not doing art every once in a while because it keeps you healthy
Yeah.
mentally and stuff, and physically. But also, Chris Pern, which is an amazing director who directed like The Willoughbys, like co-directed like Cloudy, which is Meatball too. Like that guy's been places. He knows what he's talking about.
Hmm.
He told me something so important. He's like, if you want to be a storyteller, may it be by animation, by design, by compositing, not even a director, just someone who tells stories, he was like, you cannot tell stories if you've never lived one. So how are you going to tell stories if the only thing you did in your life is draw in your basement? He's like, you
Yeah.
have to.
You
So
gotta
some of these
live.
things, yeah, you got to experience stuff, and then if you have to do something, then you can remember a moment that happened before, like a in a camping trip or in the trip, or just like at the restaurant the other week, like anecdotes and stuff. So don't
Yeah.
forget to live.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you reminded me that point. I was gonna forget. Oh my god.
So important.
Um, yeah. So thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yeah.
We're gonna share the social in the chat. Oh, it's already done. You're so good, Janelle. Thank you so much, Janelle. Always taking care of our stream. We have to give credits where credit is due. Thank you, Janelle. You're amazing. Um, and this was Vanessa Bouchard and Marie-Ève Lacelle on the Toon Boom stream. And thank you so much. Don't forget to come by on our YouTube channel. We have like the VODs, video on demand, later on. And throughout the weeks, there's other shows that we host, like about storyboard rigging, guests and something. Because I just host this one once a month, but there's so many more. So check them out. And any last word, Vanessa?
uh, Thanks to everybody that joined.
Yeah. And I
Live
want
long
to,
and prosper.
but yeah, stay curious, stay humble,
Stay
and
tuned.
come my YouTube channel because I draw monsters every October and it's nice. Have a nice day.
Bye.